Hey, that's the Palmetto State Quartet here on Daybreak, 63 degrees on a Monday morning. Joe Hogan, candidate for City Council District 1, joins us. And Joe, good morning to you, sir.
How are you, Jimmy Dale?
I am well, and belated Happy Father's Day to you. And I know that the election is a little bit out in late August, but you made a decision some time back for City Council District 1. Why?
Actually, I made a decision about 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. I wanted to run and came to the mayor.
So you hadn't changed your mind, have you?
I have not changed my mind. People ask me why I'm doing it, but I have not changed my mind. I wanted to get into city politics, not necessarily city politics, but the inner workings of the city. Mm-hmm. And I worked out of town, and it was too long. I couldn't get back quick enough, and I couldn't get into the race. I talked to the mayor at the time, Sam, about it, told him my interest, and it just didn't work out right. Since then, I've been able to relocate back to Sylacauga where I work. I never moved. I just commuted to Birmingham for years and got back into Sylacauga working and decided to put forth a full effort. So I've been working on this for several years, and I've actually been at the city council meetings and the work sessions since the 1st of October trying to get myself prepared.
Talk about your family a little bit.
Family, my family's pretty well known in Sylacauga, back to both sides of grandparents. Noble and Helen Hogan operated the Trailways bus station, which a lot of people remember.
I can still hear his voice.
Yeah. At the time, a lot of people shipped things by freight through the bus system instead of UPS or mail. My first job was at the bus station. I was a porter, I guess, janitor. But that's good because they gave me the opportunity to make some money, and I mopped the floors and unloaded the buses. My other grandparents were Bill Wyckoff, and my grandmother, still alive, is Doris Wyckoff, and he was a credit manager for Avondale. So they set forth some big shoes. My parents, obviously, are Ken and Joanne Hogan, who he's passed on now, but my mother just retired from the hospital after 46 years.
Wow.
So, and she was pretty instrumental in doing a lot of things for the hospital. So that's my family history. So they've set forth big shoes for me to fill, and I don't think I've done a bad job. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to run for city council.
Now you work at Home Depot?
I work for Home Depot. I'm a lead generator there, so have a good job. So if you come in Home Depot, chances are you'll see me walking around, floating around, trying to make sure customers are taken care of. You
mentioned that you have attended a number of city council meetings. What's your take on the council meetings, and what do you see, not just in District 4, but citywide, that we can improve on?
Well, I got back into the city and started going to the meetings in October, and sit back observing everything, not just what's being said, but how each one of the councilmen react to each other. Some of their aggressiveness, some of their lack of aggressiveness on certain issues. And I sit back and I think, what can we do as a city? And I brought that up with friends and family over the years, and people have said, well, why don't you just run for office? Why don't you run for that? Because you have some ideas. And that's how I decided to do it. But sitting back watching them, I thought, well, I do have some ideas. And my take on the city council right now is that the city is a business. It should be promoted, marketed, and it should be profitable. And I understand we work with a zero balance budget, so there's limited things we can do to increase our business. But as a city council, regardless of who's on there, right now or in the future, you have to be proactive. You can't be reactive. And we have to think outside the box, because with today's technology, we've never been as technologically advanced as we are right now. And we have to take advantage of these opportunities to get our city out there. We've got to find ways to put us out there and use these technological resources to do that, as well as be creative and think outside the box. Just recently, I have come up with a plan where I can take $10,000 from somebody that the city is giving to with their approval and donate it to somebody else within the city as far as entities go. So it just takes a little bit of talking and a little bit of creativity, and I'm not saying our current council does not do that, but we just have to be more creative. We have to do more things, be unique. I mean, we're constantly looking around as a city saying, well, how does Pell City get this, or how does Alexander City get this, or Oxford? We're all basically around the same size, and for a change, I would like for them to turn around and look at us and say, well, how did Sylacauga get this? And that's my plan, is to try to come in and do a lot more things that we can, if you save me money, that's the same thing as giving me money. If there's some ways we can tweak things without cutting people's funding and put that in different places, same thing as operating your budget at home.
Where's District 4?
District 4 is out the Talladega Highway. You mean District 1?
Yeah, I'm sorry, District 1, yeah.
District 1 is out the Talladega Highway and past KFC, out that side. So my district will encompass Taylor Estates, Valley View, Dogwood Circle, Pleasant Ridge, parts of Odina, parts of Oldfield, parts, whatever's been annexed from Sycamore and Alpine, Fairmont, down Talladega Highway, everything out that area.
There's been lots of talk, especially in recent weeks, about the sportsplex. And that is something that we grapple with for years and have never been able, for whatever reason, to get it done. Other cities our size have a sports complex, and it makes a lot of difference in the children's lives and young adult and senior adults' lives. Your thoughts on the sportsplex?
Well, part of my platform is to increase athletic opportunities for kids. There's just no two. Have you paid for college education lately? Have you gone to school or had kids that have gone? Education is expensive.
Yeah,
it is expensive. And I have a daughter that's 10. And unless you're planning and have the perfect plan right now for her to have her school paid for when she goes, you're going to have to come up with other options. And other options for a lot of people are scholarships, athletic scholarships. Some people can play sports that aren't very smart, yet they can't get an academic scholarship, but can get a sports scholarship, and it works, just opposite as well. But if we can expand our athletic opportunities for kids, give them a better chance of getting some of this school paid for, then I think we should do it. Now, there's a lot of people that don't want the athletic complex because they have no interest in it. They have no kids, no grandkids, or maybe they just don't believe in sports. And I understand that. There's a lot of people that have kids and grandkids in it and think that we need it. I have seen firsthand, because I'm an athlete. I still play competitive softball and play in over 35 men's baseball league. And I was just in Carrollton, Georgia Saturday looking at this monstrosity of a complex they have, and there had to be 2,000 people out there. And that happens about every 3 weeks when I'm over there. I see that. So we have opportunities to bring business in, whether they be lodging, restaurants, other retail, by doing that, but you can't impose something on somebody if they don't want it. We have to give our kids an opportunity. We have to give our city an opportunity to grow through something like that, whether it be improve on what we've got in certain stages. Maybe not. Maybe a complex just won't work, or we can't get it in, but we can improve what we have and slowly build around that. But how are you going to make someone pay taxes on something that they don't want? We have to come up with a plan. I know right now grants seem to be, I just read in the paper where Chillsburg is getting a lot of different things done through grants. Part of the Parks and Rec has to find out what it's going to take to get something like that, or what it's going to take to improve what we have without imposing on people that don't want to pay taxes, have no interest in it. As I said a minute ago, you have to be more creative, have to think outside the box on how to get this done.
Joe Hogan, our guest this morning, candidate for City Council District 1 in the citywide elections coming up August the 28th. We have seen in recent months several businesses close their doors. We've had new businesses that have opened up. Your thoughts on business and industry in the city of Sylacauga?
If anybody is a smart candidate, whether you be city council or mayor, the first thing you're going to lead with is jobs, because we have to have it. We've lost a lot over the past 5 years. Some of them we have not recuperated from. And how do you? It's like your budget home. How do you get more money in? You got to find a way. When I worked for Emirates, at the time was ECC, it was my job to take their crushed up rock out of the ground, which was in a powder form, bring it through the plant that I worked in and mix it with acid, and make a coated powder for it. Well, we put it on a rail car, 95 tons for $250,000, sealed it up, banded it, tagged it, and sent it to Picayune, Mississippi. They in turn made plastic out of it, sent the plastic to Kimberly-Clark or Bowater, whatever their name was at that particular time, and they put it in diapers. So I was sitting over there thinking, I said, man, for all the problems they have with shipping and rail, if a car seal got destroyed or something, the whole car was waste. What if Heritage Plastics, who was the customer, came over to Sylacauga? Well, where's Heritage Plastics now?
Mm-hmm.
You know, 1,000 yards away is Heritage Plastics' front door from Emirates' back door, with a railroad in between. They've cut out their shipping on both ends. They've cut out transportation cost. You brought your company closer to the resource. So what if we as a city, or city council, or city leaders, or whatever group of people this can be, can go to other, or can take advantage of our natural resource, which is the one thing that we offer all over the world, the calcium carbonate. What if we can go to these other businesses like Heritage Plastics and say, look, we understand today's times with fuel and shipping. Let's bring you into us, bring you closer to the source, which we've done with Heritage. How many others can we do that with? How can we go even further than that and go to Heritage Plastics customers and say, look, we've got all this opportunity for growth, opportunity for business, for you to make money, and can make some concessions in bringing your business in here right by the source. Have you been down Fayetteville Highway lately? There's a lot of places over there.
Right.
There's a spec building to take advantage of. There's property to take advantage of. We can put a pipe over the highway there and run powder or slurry through that, whether it be from Emirates or from Omea. And that to me is thinking outside the box, being aggressive. We've got to go out and find these customers, give them ways and options to come in, as opposed to them just happen to find us on the internet and say, that's a good looking city. That's a nice hometown for people to grow up in. Let's go check them out. How long are we going to wait till somebody does that?
Joe Hogan, our guest, candidate for District 1 City Councilman in Sylacauga. The mayoral election's coming up in late August. Finally this morning, Joe, why should people begin to formulate in their mind this early out why they should vote for Joe Hogan, City Council District 1?
In a small town, there's a lot of talk. People talk all the time about different things, whether it be sports, whether it be rumors, gossip. That's just the way small town life is. You've got less people to talk about as opposed to a big city, and everybody knows everybody. So you talk about each other as friends, as just common interests that you have. It's time to at least get the word out, because are you in District 1? Right. So at some point in time, you've got to sit down and think, well, what candidates do I need to choose from? Start weeding out the options, weeding out the candidates. At some point in time, you have to put that out there and give people the option. Jimmy Dale, I would say, are you happy with your last 4 years of city council? If yes, then you have no issues. If you say no, or I would like things to be done different, you're going to leave things a little open-minded in your mind, then you're going to look to see what the other candidates have. And it's pretty simple for me. I've put my background out there in the different announcements where I've come out and announced my professional background and personal background. If you're not happy, then you'll look at my background. If there's something you see in there that says, hey, he was a manager, he did manage businesses for a while, he can probably manage our city too. Or let's give him a chance. He's not going to be any worse than what we've had. There's a lot of things that people need to consider, and sometimes it takes people longer than others to figure out who they want to vote for. If I let you know now that I'm running, you've still got a month or 2 months to get to know me better, to ask me questions you might want to ask me, to find out where I stand, and that's the reason for coming out, because I want to give people the opportunity to see me, to find me, to ask me questions. Facebook is a big thing that a lot of people are on. It's a social media. Some people just get on to play Farmville and crazy games. Some people get on for friends, give their own personal life history. But I'm going to use it as a way of networking, okay? I opened it up with and you can look my name up and go to my political page. I opened it up for the campaign as well as the 4 years to follow. And it's an open line of communication between myself and my constituents. If you have any questions you want to know about where I stand, you can address it on there publicly for everyone to see. You can read the questions, you can read the answers. If you want to send me a private message, you can do that. But what I'm going to do is leave an open line for constituents to do that, exactly that. When I can get into office here after the election in August, I'm going to leave it open and give a twice-a-month update coming from the council meetings and the work sessions, where actually people in my district, but not only them, but people all over the city, can get a current update on a regular basis on what's being talked about, what's going on, where the city wants to go, without having to read it in the newspaper or in the media or here. I want people to know that they're connected to myself, that they can come to me with anything, and that they're going to feel like, hey, we've put this guy in and he has done a great job keeping us up on what's going on. We think he's working for us. And that's the way it should be. You should think that your city councilman is working for you.
Joe Hogan, our guest this morning, candidate for City Council District 1 in the August mayoral election, municipal elections on August 28th. And Joe, I'm sure we'll be talking again, but thanks for dropping by this morning.
Hey, I thank you, Jimmy Dale.
More on Daybreak in just a minute.